Tender Love and Care? Nope. T-Ball's Left Eye Chili? Nope. It was Tables, Ladders, and Chairs 2019. We're here at AfterBuzz to talk all about it.
I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, Buzz.
Welcome, everybody, to your AfterBuzz TV exclusive coverage of Tables, Ladders, and Chairs 2019 from Minneapolis, Minnesota, from the Target Center Arena.
Target Field,
Target Field.
14 degrees that starts about
14.
time. Yeah.
Woo.
That's crazy.
That is chilly.
It is not 14 degrees in this studio because it is hot from humidity, from us.
From us.
We are
flames in the booth.
After watching this pay-per-view, a lot of good things, a lot of okay things happen. We're here to always talk all about it. As always, I am not alone, except for that one time. But I'm here with Flobo Boyce.
How's it going, everybody?
With Emily Mae.
Hey, guys.
And I am George Hermoza. We're going to just dive right into it. And I'm happy that you guys are here because you guys also cover the Wednesday's NXT coverage.
Yes, the Superior Wednesday AfterBuzz show.
Yeah.
We do.
Some may say yes. Some may say yes as well.
Right.
But I'm kind of curious what you guys thought of maybe after having a dominant month last month in November.
Sure.
Constantly NXT on Raw and SmackDown on their own brand, dominating Survivor Series.
Right.
No NXT presence here at TLC 2019.
Okay.
Do you like that, or do you like the fact that they're their own thing? Do you want it to keep it on Wednesdays because of the competition they have?
As of right now, the takeovers are too valuable of a sub-brand to even merge it into the mainland pay-per-views. I would like to have more of an NXT presence moving forward, but to jettison that just for TLC would be a totally misfire.
Yeah, I mean, I think the NXT brand is so strong right now that it was a tight show, and I can't really see the NXT brand infiltrating this one.
Because especially this upcoming Wednesday, we have like these two huge title matches with Adam Cole, Finn Balor, Shayna Baszler, Rhea Ripley. Like, you don't think that maybe one of those could have been on this pay-per-view to have that big kind of platform or spotlight?
No, because the problem with that is Survivor Series needs an extra reason for you to tune in, because that pay-per-view's concept is long that live its welcome, and so I feel like that would be a special thing for it. To have another match over there at TLC or even Fastlane would be like, oh, okay, where's the special thing about that?
So you think it should be kept for maybe the Big Four? Because I think they already kind of unofficially announced that NXT will have a presence for Royal Rumble. I think they're going to have 10 Raw, 10 SmackDown, 10 NXT.
Makes sense.
Do you think it should just keep it for the Big Four?
Yeah, they show up at last year's Royal Rumble, and WrestleMania is WrestleMania. It isn't WWE Mania, so I don't see why not.
I think they have to be really selective. The NXT creative team has to be really selective on where they bring them and bring talent, and I think that it wasn't necessarily needed tonight.
And plus, you kind of take away, and I do agree with whatever you guys said, but
Whatever.
Well, not whatever, but
Whatever we said.
the thing that you said, I agree with it. But because at the same time, you kind of have to have this kind of. I feel like if AEW wasn't there, maybe we would see one of these title matches on the pay-per-view. But because AEW is there, cool. They want to be competitive as well with All Elite Wrestling, and
Sure.
you kind of have it.
It's hard to say, man, because to be honest with you, the card was really stacked, 6 days, 8 days before the event. It wasn't built like Survivor Series was.
Yeah.
But we're going to dive right into the main event of TLC because there is going to be a lot to say about this match. I've already heard a lot of good things about this match.
Yeah.
I've heard some bad things about this match, but I want to get into your guys' thoughts. Emily, we kind of talked a little bit before the show.
Yeah.
And you said you actually liked this match.
You
thought it was your favorite match of the night?
One of my favorites,
Okay.
yes. I would say it's like in the top. It's a really... I love these four women. They're incredible athletes. I like the contrast in styles. I think, the Kabuki Warriors bring a very interesting technique to the show. They're bringing, old school, Japanese wrestling technique, all these props and all these moments that are surprising. And then, and Charlotte and Becky are just like the top tier athletes that are really, bringing everything that they can to it. And that contrast is really great.
I know. I'm sorry. Were you?
No. You
Okay, I was gonna say there were some things that I saw on the internet. Like, we all read the internet. We all
we do.
We kind of tend to shy away from maybe like some of the trollish comments, but every now and then you'll see like a nice, adequate, intelligent comment that you see maybe about the show. And I've seen a lot of things kind of say that this match was kind of all over the place, but not in a good way. What do you think, Flobo?
It's a hard thing to call. Like, on one hand, you're going to say, look, here is a tag team match from a division that's pretty thin. You put Charlotte and Becky together. They kind of forced an alliance there because of what? Getting these particular titles. Then you have the fact of its placement being the last match tonight, which is a good idea, but some people weren't expecting that, right? They were thinking that maybe Corbin or maybe even Bray Wyatt will be in the main event. So I can see someone taking that step back and being like, that's not what I expected. But the match itself was fine. I mean, had a good action. Tables were used. Ladders were used.
Everything was used. There was a fire extinguisher and a rope and what else?
Tied to train tracks. At the end of the day, these women tag team titles divisions, it needs help. And the way you do that is start putting it in places where people can see it.
Well, and you also put people together that are a really good match. And you could see that, I mean, I'm assuming Kairi Sane is really injured because there was a moment there. I think I think after it happened, people were going on Twitter and stuff, and like I had to go back and look at footage because she was super wobbly near the end, and you could see them trying to, Becky Lynch trying to help, and you could see that they were all trying to like get to the end of the match, and I'm wondering. In my mind, I was wondering like if that was the finish that they were going for.
There was a couple things that happened during the match, and obviously much respect to all four women.
Oh my God, for
anybody
pulling through and trying to get through that when it's a really scary situation.
Or anybody that's involved in the ring, obviously, just all together. But there were some instances in the match where like maybe Kairi wasn't all there. Like, it kind of makes you think, like, maybe she did kind of suffer maybe a concussion or something. Because a couple of things that stood out was the spear that, like, Charlotte just totally was going for the spear, but Kairi just kind of stood there, like, no, girl, you gotta take the bump.
Well, I mean, there's footage. It's not, like, confirmed yet, but I think there's footage that maybe she got hit with the monitor that Becky Lynch threw, and she got a little wobbly after that and couldn't finish and couldn't do the full moves after that. And you could see them talking to each other, and that's really scary trying to figure that out when your partner is having a tough time.
Absolutely.
Because at the same time, and just kind of my opinion is, like, this isn't the first time we've seen 3 of these four men in this kind of environment. Last year's TLC main event was Asuka versus Charlotte versus Becky Lynch in a TLC match. Obviously, that was phenomenal. And then you kind of add in this exciting, wrestler like Kairi Sane. Cool. I was all in for this match, but I don't know what it was about. And again, we all have our speculation about what happened to Kairi, but I think a lot of it was Charlotte and Becky as well. Like, look at the past TLC matches, and obviously we all remember the TLC 1, 2, 3, 4, like past TLC matches. You had Hardys, Dudleys, those were teams. Like Edge and Christian. Like, I feel like Charlotte and Becky just were not in sync with each other. Like, I don't think they have the experience as a team to kind of pull off some of these cool things that we've usually seen in previous tag team TLC matches.
Absolutely. I think Charlotte and Becky have good chemistry against each other. Putting them together, there's not so much of a complementary moveset there. Because Charlotte is so good technically. Becky is so good at being a character and being a brawler. It does seem like a mesh of styles, some dissonance, if you will. But that's the thing I had. It was a storyline, so I could see where it was. But the idea was, hey, do you want to be Becky Two Butts again? We can't beat these people by ourselves. It makes sense if this was a long play, and if the Asuka and Kairi Sane were just terrorizing multiple shows and being like the worst bullies ever, but it just felt like hey, you want to beat them? All right, let's do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough spot because you have Becky and Charlotte who are top athletes, and separately they have really great matches, but it's hard sometimes when you combine those types of talent together to see if they actually can work together. And I think tonight was a testament of, they're still trying to figure it out. And
there's a special kind of art form for tag team wrestling. Like, that's not just something that you guys can just get together and then obviously we see magic happen. We've talked about it in the past with maybe some of these guys like Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler, or just kind of teams that kind of randomly put together. I mean, that's fine in the short term, but if you want a main event like a pay-per-view, especially in this kind of match, like, I don't know, there was just something about that just overall, like, this was not in my top 3.
Right.
Okay,
it wasn't in my bottom.
Fine.
It wasn't in my bottom. But I don't know what it is. It's just there was just all over the place.
What did it for me was the placement of the match, and it's not a detriment to the 4 women in the match. They are the best at what they do.
Yeah.
But you haven't told me why the women's tag team championship belts are important yet, and I think that's what it is. It's like, well, every other thing storyline wise we've seen. Now this match is a great exhibition match, but you have titles we're not really established with a team that's been makeshift versus a team that has basically run roughshod over Raw's women's division. So that's why, to me, it felt like, I don't want to say anticlimactic. That's unfair. But it just feels like, it could be a lot more.
Do you think the build-up wasn't there?
The build-up for the match was there. I just don't think it was main event worthy based on the fact that, like, if Becky and Charlotte were to win that match, it'd been like, they are new champions. It wouldn't be like, we have new champions. Good night, everybody. I feel. Is that just me, or who's saying in the chat? I don't know.
I kind of saw it because again.
What do you guys think? Let us know. What do you think?
Because obviously we've all seen women are worthy of main eventing, and I'm not just saying that because Emily's here and she'll probably beat me up if I say otherwise.
Where's my chair?
Yeah, but women can go. Like they are worthy of main event slots. But this is the second pay-per-view in a row where we saw women in the main event. I know obviously we're going to see more women in the main event, but I don't know. I just feel like last month Survivor Series Triple Threat was a little underwhelming. I feel like this one was a little all over the place. Like I just hope that they don't kind of lose that faith of putting them in that pressure type situation.
Well, do you think they're like, the question is like they're overcompensating by putting so much action in one match to make it like, okay, it's the main event and there's 4 women, so we have to like make it.
I think the action was there.
And then it's like too much is happening.
I just think there was something just off regarding like Charlotte and Becky and obviously Kyrie. Maybe some of the timing that she was going through, because that was a new situation for her. Like she's not, like I said, the other 3 main evented last year. Now you throw in Kyrie, like this is kind of new for her. She's kind of still new on the roster. Not even a year. Like they're finally getting into their groove. And it was an unfortunate miss.
Growing pains.
That I do want to see maybe go back.
Right.
Or them running back. Maybe even take away the TLC factor in it. I want to see just a straight up badass 2-on-2 Charlotte and Becky versus Asuka and then Kairi Sane.
Well, if you think about it, like the Kabuki Warriors have that, they bring all the green mist and things like that. So like I feel like the tables and all the chairs, like that fits within, the way they win matches.
Right. If you would have sold me on a week of Becky and Charlotte like having a match together or maybe get the upper hand, and now you have a bona fide rivalry, it was good. But as of right now, it was an exhibition match based on the stakes alone.
Yeah.
In this position, the takes per pay.
I mean, like I said, I wouldn't mind seeing it running back. Just maybe take away the TLC aspect of it, and
well, you
I think
never
it'd be a
know.
great
And
match.
there's still more time.
Yeah, next
for
week's
next
Rumble.
year.
Yeah, we'll see how. I mean, if anything, we all know that maybe Becky's not going to be in the Rumble, so she probably needs something to do.
At catering.
Maybe. Yeah. But other people, we saw kind of this new Bray Wyatt that we haven't seen him as the new Bray Wyatt. We've seen previous Bray Wyatt, Wyatt family, Buzzard Bray Wyatt, but not this Firefly Funhouse. If anything, this was like his re-debut.
Right.
Because we've seen The Fiend.
Yeah.
But not this.
I mean, every time he comes out, he freaks me out anyway.
Really? Even without The Fiend?
Yes. Because it's like the music and it freaks me out.
Yeah.
But in a good way where I can't stop watching. So
I got a couple thoughts about the overall story of this match, but what did you guys think of this kind of the build up for The Miz? I mean, we all thought they were going to go with Daniel Bryan versus Bray Wyatt.
Sure.
But do you like the fact that now we are seeing another side of Bray Wyatt where he's not the Fiend and wrestling on TV or pay-per-view?
yeah, I mean, I have to say it adds an element of mystery, even more mystery, because he's like talking to himself, and he looks at the screen, and there's a mystery there that you're like, what is going on? And you don't know if it's like a split personality or like what's happening. And so it adds like a really uncomfortable but intriguing storyline.
I'm not sure about the actual match itself, but if I was doing the pay-per-view on paper, this should have been your main event. And there's a bunch of reasons for that, because we hadn't seen if there was going to be a regular Bray or if it was going to be a bait and switch. The Miz has this built-in rivalry with Daniel Bryan, and him sticking up for him has a lot of things he can pull from. Yeah, the family stuff gets overshadowed because right now there's so many family-based storylines here at the WWE, but you have the Miz and his reasoning, Daniel Bryan in the back, you have the new Bray, the Fiend being in there. There's a lot of elements at play where if you weren't a wrestling fan, there was entertainment enough for you to pull from.
So you think the Miz storyline with like the family and like, because there was all those promos with Monroe, right?
Yeah,
Monroe, like in the crib, and like that was such a good media package.
Yeah.
And then they're building up to this match, and the stakes are high for the Miz, and I just wish that he showed it a little bit sooner in the match.
True.
Like, he was saying, oh, my family's on the line and the safety of my family, and, that's such a powerful thing, and that should be driving you throughout the whole match from the beginning. And
Agreed.
I feel like it wasn't necessarily there tonight. And yeah, like that offense, he should have been angrier, and it just like took way too long to get there.
But that's to your point. Yeah, I agree with you. But then that should be your ending, right? You have your match, and she could have been better. Whatever. I'm not knocking that. You have the match. Yeah. Then you have Daniel Bryan appear, and that's your water cooler moment. Wow, he's different. Good night, everybody. See you tomorrow, or see you Friday. And that's like your story that you tune in. I think that could have been perfect the way it was, storyline wise.
Yeah.
So would you rather see more Bray Wyatt or more of the Fiend? Or does it just depend on the story?
You're asking me personally, or you're asking me as a pundit on AfterBuzz television?
Both. Is it the same?
No. As someone on AfterBuzz TV, you make it as mysterious as possible.
Exactly.
Let me see where I want to go. I'm going to watch. Is it going to be this great mystery?
Like, are you saying, like, so maybe, like, for the next match, it should be, like, which one is he going to get? Well, something like that, or?
I think it also depends on the opponent, too. Like, what story are you building? And one might be a better, the Fiend or Bray Wyatt, one might be a better match than the other. And I think the mystery of him, like, disappearing and not knowing, the darkness, and, like, that makes people uncomfortable. And I would love to see it in person. It plays well when you're watching it, but I feel like in person, it might be even different.
True. He has one of those characters that if it doesn't change, he can get very, very stale. So anything you can do to get him involved, that's great. I personally want to have him in the ring, but you can only have regular Bray in the ring. You can't put the Fiend in there cutting a promo, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like having that dynamic, I'm not sure if it's a split personality or double personality.
Not sure,
it's definitely something.
But I think keeping it a mystery is what's going to give him the ability to continue these like crazy Firefly Funhouse and all of these like stuff on their digital platforms, as well as like in the ring and during the week.
I saw this movie around four days ago. I saw a movie in the movie theaters, and by the end of the movie, there are so many questions that, and mind you, from start, and the movie was finished, right? So many questions. It was called Joker. Now
you could have just said that.
Kind of slow the take. I know. 2 months ago.
So I'm watching this on TV. I'm watching it on pay-per-view or WWE Network, and I'm watching this complex character in Bray Wyatt. It's like it's okay if we don't have all the answers. Like the fact that he comes out there and he's as Bray Wyatt, he's taking a beating, he kind of likes it, but is the Fiend going to come out at some point? I hate kind of a lot of wrestling fans because they always want now. But some of the magic of pro wrestling is like sometimes you just gotta let it play.
Yeah, you
like,
have
there's a lot
to
of
let
good
the moment happen and like that arc happen.
Yeah, there's a lot of like ambiguity in pro wrestling is not a bad thing. Like to keep you guessing, like you mentioned, like is he gonna be one, is he gonna be the other? Like, and I'm watching this character like Bray Wyatt, and even now where it's like when we saw Daniel Bryan come back, and it kind of furthered what I mentioned before. I didn't say it on this pay-per-view after show, but I said it on Raw. I know I said it on SmackDown, but people do change when the Fiend gets his hand on somebody to the point where who was the first person we saw Bray Wyatt get his hands on? The Fiend, Finn Balor. What happened when he came back? Now he's kind of the Prince is back, right? New Japan, Prince Devitt, whatever. Who's the next guy that he came back? Seth Rollins. Now look at him now.
Yeah.
He goes back to being a trio.
Yeah.
Because the other two guys aren't available. He wants to go now. If Seth comes back with a half blonde hair, I'll lose my mind.
Sorry, you were gonna go.
Now to the point. Now we saw him do that to Daniel Bryan. Guess what? We're getting a little bit closer to the American Dragon back. I know he was never American Dragon in WWE, but like we saw that. I'm sure we all popped the same way.
I mean, I love the point that you're making that that Bray Wyatt or the Fiend is touching all of these other people within the WWE universe and like making them kind of have a little edge, making them kind of do something that they wouldn't normally do, and and maybe it's gonna like filter into other elements.
Yeah, I hope
and that's
so.
exciting. And I think you're going to have that type of like keeping it fresh kind of.
Like there are so many branches to this character that like again you said I'm all in.
Yeah, I love how in depth it is.
Yeah.
And you don't know how like I feel like he has a journal that he keeps and he's just writing all of his backstory. And I love it.
That's pretty legit. I don't see why you wouldn't do that.
I know, right?
Because even like when he came out, and I knew what was going to happen. People, I think we're all smart enough to know that they kept announcing it as The Miz versus Bray Wyatt, so we all knew it was going to be Bray Wyatt.
Well, he was in the graphic.
But we all know, like, there's a large portion of the audience that said, like, oh, the Fiend's going to wrestle. Just because, like, oh, the Fiend, the Fiend. So I can hear, like...
They're a little separate.
Exactly.
They are separate.
But I feel like there was a sense of a huge groan when, like, oh, it's Bray Wyatt? Like, I wanted the Fiend.
Yeah.
Like,
It really, I feel like once, not last SmackDown, the SmackDown before, when Bray Wyatt gave Miz the Sister Abigail, you're getting Bray.
Yeah, I mean, we know.
Yeah.
But I feel like the audience was like, they legit thought they were getting the Fiend. Boo. And so people started booing. But I think Bray Wyatt knows that character so well, and it's like, just playing to the crowd and, shaking everybody's hand and, waving on. He got the crowd on his side for a little bit. Yeah. So, I don't know. I'm all in for this character.
Sidebar, do you think that Bray Wyatt should have used the Firefly Funhouse theme song, or is he going to...
I was curious what he was going to use.
It was going pretty long
there. But at the same time, like, I noticed something too. Like, we haven't really seen Bray Wyatt wrestle on TV either. Right. Like, it's a good pay-per-view because like you can take your time and spread it out a little bit more. But I wouldn't want to hear that theme as a theme song for 5 minutes at a time every week on TV.
Yeah, I mean, I felt the entrance like we saw the the graphics, and then he comes out, and it felt very, very different. And so I feel like that's the reason why they did it, was because they needed something that was completely opposite. Yeah. And it really got you thinking, like, what is happening? What's going to happen?
Now, what did you guys think of this? The new/old Daniel Bryan coming out?
I think that, yeah, exactly. I'm not sure about the Yes movement. I really felt like that should have been dead. You can do the whole Prince Balor. Whoa. Finn Balor thing and say, look, I'm going to do like a reference to what I did before, but do something else. It looks like it's going to be there, but you know what? I'm down to see it because, again, to your point, we saw the hair getting pulled out. Even before that, Daniel Bryan's match was I've been changed with the mental instability, so we're seeing that now. And you know what? It's all for the fans, right? Seeing that old school, like, maybe independent version of Bryan.
I mean, I think the fans want it, and I feel like they're trying to figure out what to do with Daniel Bryan, and so I think this is the perfect, like, surprise moment.
And it kind of makes me think too, where like, let's say whoever the Fiend ends up feuding with next, like how that person's going to change. It's just so much like arc to it, where it's like we're seeing this now, but man, I can't wait to see what's going to happen to the next guy, whoever that may be, or maybe woman, whoever that may be. Maybe he's at some point he's going to get his hands on Liv Morgan, and she's going to come back with a huge character. Who knows? Like, there's all these things that, like, I don't know, so much.
It can happen to anyone.
We'll see what ends up happening. We saw the previous match wasn't the only TLC match we saw. We saw another TLC match, which this one ended by pinfall. Nothing on the line, but we saw Roman Reigns versus Baron Corbin in just a TLC match.
The King Corbin.
My liege. Do you guys just as fans in general, are you okay with seeing one of these TLC matches that ends in pinfall, like with nothing hanging up on? Like, are we used to just too much of the ladder match type formula for TLC matches?
That's a very complex question. I feel like if you're going to go to the trouble of making a TLC pay-per-view every year, then it's fine. But if I'm playing in the video game, it has to be a ladder match. I love my ladder match TLC matches, but yeah, you're right. It's just what you get. It's what you get.
What did you guys think of the overall match? Roman Reigns losing to Baron Corbin, to King Corbin.
He lost from a dastardly heel breaking the rules, quote unquote. So even though it kind of deflated this guy's energy, it's totally within the rules of wrestling. Because it was like so, like the pin was so weak. It's like, Roman, are you dead? No. So
it felt like it was not. It felt like it was a lot of brawling in the beginning. There wasn't a lot of like really exciting things. I feel like I've seen it before, and it didn't really excite me until like near the end, where there was a little.
Right.
Well, did you like how that pay-per-view ended? Because that wasn't the last time we saw a lot of these guys. We saw a big brawl with pretty much all the SmackDown. Like, how did you guys think of that ending? And usually we see, somebody wins 1, 2, 3, or grab the thing. Cool, ends up posing. You see the little graphic on the bottom right. Cool, 1, 2, 3, we're out. But now it's like, oh my God, there's still things happening.
They're still fighting, like for like a half hour. I mean, I felt like, I feel like I don't know. I felt like there wasn't really that moment where it just like was anticlimactic. I'm like, they're still fighting. Like I've seen this before, so it didn't really do anything for me. Where it's just like, okay, went to black and we're done.
I'm not sure what the point was. I'm not sure I was supposed to raise my interest to tune in to see what happened, or is it supposed to set up some sort of like merging of brands? Because the Street Profits are on Raw, and then like those guys from SmackDown. I'm not going to poo-poo on it and be like, it ruins wrestling, but it kind of undercut the main event.
It did,
and then it kind of undid Corbin's win because he beat Roman Reigns, but
and then they're still fighting.
They're still fighting. So what is the point of that?
And the timing was weird because and that could have been because of what happened in the main event, the women's match. That it just felt like, okay, they're done real quick, and then we're back to like these guys fighting, and it just felt very like out of sync, and that it just didn't really like, wasn't that nice little bow at the end of the show.
You don't think it maybe adds a little bit of spontaneity that I think is missing from pro wrestling at all?
The fights?
Yeah, just like randomly, like people are still fighting, like.
Yeah, I guess here's the thing with why it doesn't work, and I agree with you. I think remember when we thought Paul Heyman first took over and it was like the electrical things blowing up, and they're like, oh, what's going on? The reason why it doesn't work is you're telling me everyone fought and everyone let it go for an entire match while pay-per-view was going.
Yeah.
No referees, no back cameras, nothing. And then someone decides, hey, let's go out to the arena. Like, to me, it doesn't logically make sense.
Yeah. Well, and it's like, and how many matches were between that? It was like 2 or 3 matches?
Yeah.
So you're like 40 minutes of fighting.
I would probably have a Gatorade shot right now.
Like, I need my Gatorade. I need
like I'm sweating and everything.
I need my, all my vitamins.
But I like unpredictability. That's what gets you to come back.
I mean, I think the spontaneity, I think you can have spontaneity in wrestling. You can have those moments that are surprising backstage, but I think it has to make sense in the world in which you're creating.
So speaking of making sense in the world that's being created,
segue.
Whoa.
Lashley, Lana, and Rusev had a nice little
segment. The story of the century.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
What did you guys think of that little TLC/TMZ promo?
Oh my god! I was like, I'm watching TMZ.
For a second, I was like,
what's happening?
No, seriously, for a second I was like, wait, did it feature on TMZ?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, that's the logo. No, never mind. It wasn't on TMZ.
Sorry to break it to you.
I am torn. I'm trying to be as respectful as possible. I am torn because it was definitely unique and I loved it as far as a creative idea. Hey, let's do like a TMZ thing. But the actual promo kind of handheld me through something that I didn't want to be handheld through. Like, keep it as less detailed as possible. Get me to the match so we can get out of it. But no, you're telling me, I'm pregnant. Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. The next week. Had a very, very, like, local cable access wrestling thing about it, where it's like, you missed. I mean,
I get that. I get your point. Yeah. I get the idea that they wanted to have that, like, oh, we're going undercover, we're getting all this gossip, and we're getting all this, like, they're just recapping the action that most of the fans have watched on Raw. And so I feel like they could have shortened it a little bit, and we still would have gotten the idea that, okay, there's going to be a big match coming.
Yeah.
So I feel like if they just tightened the package a little bit, it would have been a little bit more effective. But I like the idea. I think it's super creative. I think they're having fun with it, and adding a little, like, fun but seriousness to it.
So you cover mostly NXT. So what do you think overall of this actual storyline? Because we don't really hear your thoughts about the storyline.
Flobo knows how I feel. I don't.
Well, let everybody else know how you feel.
I'm gonna let you all know. I really don't think it's a storyline for 2019. I feel like we're going back to an era that is a bygone era, and I feel like we shouldn't be having these storylines anymore. So that's my opinion.
You think it's over now? You think this is finally it? Lashley beats Rusev, put him through a table?
No, I think that's going to continue. That's the problem.
Right.
I think that people out there might like it. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think.
It's digital ready. I mean, it's definitely going to do the clips. And
it's getting people talking about it all the time. We're talking about it on every wrestling show that we do here at AfterBuzz. We're talking about it, and that's what they want. So it's working.
That's what they want.
I mean, I think I was personally a fan of CM Punk's long-term storyline of how he would do this story, but...
Well, CM Punk is a...
now that's not going to happen just because CM Punk said it. But that might have been the original plan, but now it's not going to happen specifically because CM Punk pretty much said it.
So you think it's going on? Do you think it's going on, or do you think it's over?
I hope it's over. I feel like this is it. I feel like finally we saw that whatever thing. We finally saw divorce court. They signed the papers. All right, but I want one more thing. I want one last match with Lashley. So I really hope this is it.
I mean, there's going to be probably a proposal and a...
I mean, I feel like
it could be a big wedding.
It's still going on with Lashley and Lana, but I think it's finally over with Rusev. I think his part is gonna move on to the next part of his.
But what do you think? Like, what's gonna happen with the Rusev?
Hopefully, just find someone else to wrestle.
He knocks on Alistair Black's door.
He'll find another love.
Yeah.
Hopefully, that will treat him nicer.
Hopefully, I don't know. I'm not.
Oh, Rusev Day.
Rusev Day.
I think Lana's the worst.
Poor Rusev.
But somebody who's not the worst is New Day.
Yay!
We saw a fun ladder match with them and the Revival.
Fun ladder match?
I thought it was a fun.
Confetti? Yeah.
Was it fun?
Cupcakes
What
at
was
the
it?
end.
Funfetti?
Yeah,
There was
Funfetti.
That's my
cake?
nickname, Funfetti.
Really?
Yeah.
Shout out to Funfetti, Emily Mae.
Funfetti, Emily Mae, right here.
How do you spell
AfterBuzz.
Fetty? F-E-T-T-Y?
Funfetti,
F-E-T-T-I.
F-E-T-T-I.
Yeah,
Funfetti.
yeah.
F-A-T... Wait, what?
No, F-E-T-T-I. Funfetti, like confetti.
Oh!
Funfetti.
Funfetti.
You ever had Funfetti before?
It's the best ice cream flavor, the best cupcake flavor, the
From
best
where?
cake flavor, just of
Anything.
life.
Yeah.
They don't have it at Cold Stone.
They might.
They might have a Cold Stone
Stones,
brand.
you need to get,
Yeah,
they're
I
gonna
used-
have,
well, I used
go
to-
get that Funfetti.
Yeah.
I used to work at Cold Stone, so they didn't
Well,
have
it's
Funfetti
like
when I was
the
there.
best
Wow.
like cake batter with
Yeah, it's like birthday
sprinkles.
cake. Birthday cake with sprinkles.
And
Rainbow
I love
or
sprinkles.
chocolate?
No, it's
It's birthday cake.
It's birthday cake batter, ice cream or batter like cake.
Yeah.
With funfetti sprinkles. I mean, with colorful sprinkles, and it's so much fun.
Oh my god, I am starving.
I know.
Ice cream sounds
Sorry,
delicious right now.
ice cream. Can we have ice cream right
I
now?
know, right?
Let's try it. It's a little
What about
hot.
pancakes?
Pancakes.
You could account
let's
one of
get
those
that.
pancakes
yes,
that New Day was
let's
throwing
make
out there.
funfetti
Pancakes.
pancakes.
I'm down with
Let's
that.
do it.
Right now?
I'm ready. Yes. After
Okay.
this, we're gonna go make it.
We can grill it right here in the table.
This was a fun match, like I just
Yes,
said.
it was fun.
Yeah, we're fine.
I liked it. I liked it a lot.
I'm a big fan of Revival. Did you guys watch that little promo that they did on the pre-show with Revival and Booker T?
No, I haven't.
Oh, you
No,
guys should go back and watch
go
it.
watch it? I heard about it.
Booker T's talking. Revival pretty much comes out and punks out Booker T. Like, if you didn't know better, like, it looked like they're setting up Harlem Heat versus the Revival. Like, that's how good it was, you know? And
Where's Big T? We need him.
yeah, and they were like, oh, Scott, I think they, oh no, that was on backstage. They're like, oh, funny that you guys are fighting for over a T.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just good. Like, Revival, one of my favorite tag teams. They are a legit tag team that I think
Sure.
that we all want to see, we all want to be. Like, you know, again, I talked about lack of chemistry with Charlotte and Becky. All these four guys, like, just pure chemistry. What did you guys think of this ladder match?
I mean, I feel like I loved Kofi and Big E, and they're like throwing ladders in, and they're just like all in. They're all in for everything. They're like, we're gonna throw everything in the ring. We're gonna make it happen, and they always bring the energy. And I feel like they brought the energy to the Revival, where the Revival had to counter and they're like a little more traditional, and so
Sure.
like to see that contrast, and they were like really battling it out, and I loved it. It was super entertaining for that first opening match.
This one, it was kind of weird to me because at the bell, I did not like that match. But as the
Okay.
pay-per-view continued, I was like, no, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
Do you think
That's
it goes,
really
Do you
good.
think it
So,
goes
like, you had to
back
warm
to,
up
as you
to it?
mentioned earlier, like the placement of the match, maybe?
No, I think what it is on paper, you think of New Day and Revival because you're tag teams, you're thinking it's going to be like in the vein of the classic TLC matches.
Yeah.
But then you think about it, no, the Revival are old school, no flips, just fists.
Yeah.
And New Day really don't get the credit for being as technical as they are. Okay, yeah, it's a lot more ground and pound. That's why as the show went on, I was like, oh, that was dope. I like
Yeah, I mean the New Day had a really great. They knew how to like take the story and show it in their action and bring it into the ring, and so like you needed one of those classic TLC matches in the beginning, and I feel like this was one because they're like, all right, we're gonna bring all that stuff in, and they definitely brought it.
it. George, can I ask you a question? Favorite TLC match? Like of the classic, like first five or something?
TLC 2 from WrestleMania 17.
Well, that was the first
What?
one.
That was the second one.
Two was
the
the
first one was SummerSlam 2000. The second was WrestleMania 17.
I'm sorry, I was thinking about three. Three was
Three would have been on SmackDown.
Yeah, the one with the tag team champions one. But go ahead.
But TLC 2 was just... Oh my
Two
God.
was pretty good.
One was amazing,
Triangle
though.
ladder match was great too.
One was amazing. Just a simple visual of like Devon and Christian like hanging from the little straps, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, I remember watching, because I didn't watch the pay-per-view live, but they showed clips of like the whole event the next day on Raw, and just that visual was like, oh my God, I have to. Even though I already knew who won,
Yeah.
I have to watch it just because like that visual like sold me on it.
I love the fact that you're like an historian. Like you know every single TLC match. That's what
Damn
you see
right.
I love
if you've
it.
seen
And,
three,
and it's
but-
funny because I was going to mention, like, in honor of that triangle ladder match from 2000, WrestleMania 2000,
Yeah.
I would have loved to seen Ali G involved in this match.
I was like, who's Ali G? Oh yeah, the tag
The
team.
Ali G show.
Ali was even in the arena. If you saw us on Twitter, he's at home in Chicago this weekend.
Oh,
But he was at the arena?
No, because someone tweeted at Ali and said, "Hey,
I thought
look,
he was battling in the fan. I thought
Someone
maybe it
on
was just
Twitter
Shorty G.
actually went out to Shorty G was there.
Okay.
Reached out to Ali and was like, "Hey man, you know Roman Reigns getting beat up. Where are you?" He goes, "I'm in Chicago, bro. Sorry."
Yeah, that kind of pissed me off too. Like,
Yeah.
you're supposed to be the locker room leader, and like nobody's gonna come out and save you during the match.
Sorry.
You know, you guys can come out and save Roman Reigns. You're not gonna. He's not gonna get disqualified. terrified.
Trying to get a brown nose. You know?
So I'm gonna get back to the match and the no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
The show. No. No, I wanted more ladders and tables and chairs. That's my overall thought.
But it was just a ladder match too, so like it wasn't tables and chairs.
I know they have like the specific ones, but I feel like overall
Chair matches are weird.
Although I'm still surprised we didn't see
there weren't a lot of chairs.
We didn't even see a chairs match today. We see a tables match, a ladders match, a chairs match, a TLC match.
In the main event, the chairs were going, but they
What's
kind of
a
used
chair
everything.
That was part of the.
But what is it? Like, what does it even mean?
You just
use chairs.
Yeah. Why?
I feel like that's not as exciting unless you have everything.
But one year we saw a stairs match.
I'm down
Tables,
with
ladders,
that.
and chairs and stairs match.
Stairs and chairs.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like an
should
old
just do
crotchety
everything.
old man, but the longer I've been watching this wrestling, I think TLC and Extreme Rules has to merge or
Actually,
something.
Well, they
Speaking
had
of-
guardrails. They had guardrails, and so they need to throw fans in there too.
Actually, speaking of that, that KFC at ringside. But speaking of historian, did you know that the first match of the decade was women, and the last match of the decade on pay-per-view is by women?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it was.
I want to say it was Michelle McCool and Mickey James.
I have no idea.
I don't know. I would have to fact check that.
2000?
You guys can
2010.
2010. You guys can put that in.
I would have to fact check that.
Yeah, we gotta do that. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm the fact checker.
Okay. All right, George.
But speaking of tag team champions, Viking Raiders Open Challenge. Were you guys disappointed or excited when the OC came out?
Who's excited?
Who's excited? Are you ever excited?
Flobo was very excited.
I'm always excited. Look,
I know he is. He brings the excitement.
I alluded to this on Monday. Open challenges don't work. But in the post-Cena world, right?
Yeah.
You're in a division where you basically beat everybody, and you show up and you're like open challenge. Unless it's a brand new tag team or like the Usos, there is no one that's going to come out to be like, "Oh, Kurt Hawkins is here." You know, Carl Anderson. So
would you go out there? Would you do the open challenge?
Why not? I get that paycheck, you know. But yeah, so I was kind of like, okay, the OC makes sense. It's just you open challenge it. You told me something was coming and it wasn't. You might as well just announce that match. You know.
And I was expecting AOP, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
See, I'll be down for that.
Yeah.
That's a new opponent, but everyone else.
I mean, but at the same time, we haven't really seen this matchup since the OC became the best team in the world either.
Right.
So I think they were kind of building on that storyline, but obviously we didn't see it finish, which means we're going to see it again, maybe tomorrow or maybe the following week.
Do you feel like this was like a transitional match? Like,
I don't think, honestly, I consider...
just-
This is one of those matches where, and again, I am not a negative person.
Yeah.
But we didn't see AJ, we didn't see Orton, we didn't see Seth Rollins, we didn't see AOP, we didn't see a lot of top stars on this show. I think that this show could have done without this match.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I don't think it would have been missed.
Lots of people are resting too.
No, yeah, for
I'm
sure.
sure.
You don't need the match at all. And again, because Charlene in the chat calls me heel Beto, but I'm not. I'm a good guy.
He's a good guy.
Thank
We're
you.
all good people.
I love the team and I love what they do, but when it's all said and done, you're right. Even they had let's say the Viking Raiders retained against the OC, and you were saying they're the best in the world, but they never sold their best in the world like how Shane McMahon did. I forgot about it until they came out there with the trophy.
That's true. You have to sell it. You have to really show everyone that you are the best of the best. And if you don't show it, then no one's going to care about your match.
I mean, it was very clear that this match was only put over KFC.
Yeah.
That
Which
fried
is
chicken
fine.
and
I mean,
biscuits.
I'm gonna say I love KFC.
Let's be honest. I tweeted about it. Let's be honest.
I haven't had KFC in I don't know, 10
Today
years.
is going to change.
Okay, so we're gonna get KFC.
We're gonna get
funfetti
funfetti
ice
cupcakes
cream.
and ice cream.
And then we're going to go check
You
ourselves
guys-
at urgent care for our stomach aches afterwards.
This is going to be the best after show.
I love it. The idea is there's no food for wrestling, right? There's no wings, there's no burgers. Why not? Why not be KFC? Shout out to KFC,
Why
guys.
not?
I love KFC.
Yeah,
I'm surprised-
You know what I don't like? Popeyes or Churches. KFC is the bomb, yo.
Oh man, it's all right. Well,
So I'm surprised
Snob.
we're in Minneapolis, right? They're in Minneapolis, and there's
We're
Viking Raiders.
we're in Los Angeles.
Well, I know we're in Los Angeles, but the show was in Minneapolis, right?
Yeah, what were they chanting?
The home of the Vikings, right?
Oh. I didn't get it until
You didn't get it?
I was like, what are they chanting
They're
in
the home
Minnesota?
of the Vikings. That's why.
Yeah.
So
I knew that.
yeah, Flobo knew that.
I don't know anything. I'm a heel.
But I wish they brought the giant Vikings ship from. They can't really move it, but
Right.
it would have been cool to have a giant Viking ship come in.
Probably in the
the-
match, yeah.
Partway
Then how come
through
they,
the match.
how come they booed the Bella Twins at one time then?
The Bella Twins?
I mean, I don't know.
The Minnesota Twins? But you're a baseball person.
Oh, yeah, maybe. Yeah,
I'm a baseball
that
person.
might have been why.
Maybe.
I was seeing where you were going with that. I'm like, I don't know.
Super.
It's hot in here. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like 1,005 degrees in here.
Oh.
I'm full of jokes, by the way. If you guys ever watch the Rawness by
Well,
No
I
channel,
never know
I'm
if
full
you're
of jokes.
you're telling a joke or
no
not.
When am I ever...
Un chiste.
I'm like, are you telling a joke? Hold on. Wait, look at
You want me to tell a joke?
Maybe. No.
Yeah. Tell me a joke,
No,
George
tell me a
Hermoza.
joke, George.
Your joke was Aleister Black and Buddy Murphy.
What? That's
What?
a match of the night.
That is a transition,
I'm
not
kidding.
a joke.
I'm kidding.
That was a match of the night. The only joke was Alistair's trunk. Look, he pooped his pants.
Oh,
Other than that,
that's,
the match
that's
was
my
great.
favorite soup, the green,
I don't know.
green pea soup.
Pick a fight with
That's
my
your
face.
favorite soup?
No, I'm just kidding.
What was it? Clam chowder is like...
Clam
I
chowder?
had it in
No.
New England, I gotta
Chicken
say.
matzo ball soup. That's my favorite.
Shalom. Sorry, was it the match you were saying?
Mazel tov.
Mazel tov.
Happy Hanukkah,
You know who's
everyone.
not Jewish? Aleister Black.
He's not?
Do you know that?
Well, I mean,
For
look
sure?
at his tattoos. I don't think he believes in any
The
god.
match was the best match of the night.
Really?
I think so.
I actually agree, but I'm very curious at your thoughts on this
Yeah.
match because it was not a one-sided affair. Actually, if anything,
Yeah.
even if it was, I'd say it's more one-sided for Buddy Murphy.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious at your guys' thoughts because like this match was so good that first off, like not digging the tights on Aleister Black.
Right.
Not digging the green pea soup tights that you want to say.
And the black mark on the back.
Yeah, it's weird. But it's funny because like I'm thinking about this match. I'm like, even if like Aleister Black wins, even though like the internet's gonna be like, oh, you're burying Aleister Black, dude, Buddy Murphy's a stud.
Buddy Murphy really brought it.
Like,
I was like,
why
yeah.
couldn't that have been a match to put over Buddy Murphy? Like
Right.
that really could have gone either way.
True. So I hate using the word bury. They're buried in the body.
Yeah.
But you know the internet.
But here's the thing. With
don't
Aleister
believe
Black,
Okay.
they're absolutely right. This
Yeah.
guy was a force of nature
Totally.
in NXT, and you put him in a dark room for months. And he had a match against Cesaro at SummerSlam, and I go, okay, great. I see what we're doing. They're making him more of I'm a fighting person. Here is somebody that knocked on your door and said, now what are you going to do, bro? And it took him weeks to vanquish Buddy Murphy. If anything, I'm buying Buddy Murphy's merch, right? He made Aleister look like a total chump in
Yeah.
3 weeks flat.
And it's funny because like I'm so glad you just mentioned that because you look at it and we see this in UFC all the time where like you see sometimes the guy that's beat up the most comes out the winner. You look at side by side Aleister Black and Buddy Murphy, who looks like they won? Aleister Black was bloodied up.
Yeah.
Like,
Buddy Murphy looks like he came in, took, even though he like didn't win, like he took it.
Yeah.
And he like, yeah. I mean, he's like Aleister Black looked like he got, you know,
Got
super
roughed up.
creamed and beat up.
and it's funny because like I'm thinking
Bleeding
about the match
everywhere.
and watching the match. I'm like, am I like Aleister Black has this mystique, but does he like? Am I creating a mystique that wasn't really even there?
It's hard to have mystique when you've been postulating to the camera for weeks.
Yeah.
Remember when Mojo Rawley did that this time last year?
Mm-hmm.
It does absolutely nothing. But you come out, you should have the Viking Raiders push because you're coming out with the entrance, but you're getting these hard fought out matches. It's almost like, why are you special enough to come out with candles and changing graphics?
Well, I feel like with his entrance, he's never really like made it believable for me. And so when he comes out, I'm like, okay. And then like his match doesn't coincide with his entrance, and so I feel like he's not bringing it as much as like Buddy Murphy
Do you
is.
think it's just as simple as him being a heel? Do you think that would change a lot, or maybe how it's presented? Because like, there's really no reason why. Like, what makes him a babyface?
I don't think it's about faces and heels. It's about being compelling. So
Yeah.
you have Bray Wyatt. Imagine Bray
Yeah.
Wyatt didn't fight Finn Balor and went right into the Hell in a Cell match with Seth Rollins and got buried with chairs and it was a ref stoppage. Done. Like, no one would buy into that at all. So here is somebody, I'm tuning in every week because I know how good he was in NXT. And I'm basically going on goodwill from past years. But he's done nothing but sit there and complain in an arena going, no one wants to fight me. On a show where people are doing open challenges. So it doesn't even make sense. Like, why would you even buy into that?
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, that's true.
That's actually a very good point.
That is.
Well, I don't know.
You're so smart.
Well, thank you. I'm also a face.
You do see a lot of over there. And because at the same time too, like he's not, and much respect to anybody I'm about to mention, it's not like he's not fighting Kurt Hawkins or he's not fighting Heath Slater. Like,
Right.
like I would think that he, I guess, buried if somebody like Heath Slater gave him that kind of a fight.
Yeah.
But Buddy Murphy, like what's his ceiling? Like I want to know more about him. To me, he's the one that when it's maybe I'm reading too much into it. Maybe when it should have been the Aleister Black show, I thought Buddy Murphy was the one that came out.
So
looking
maybe
like $1 million.
maybe this is an opportunity for him to shine, and maybe this was the point of it, that like this is building for a later match where like he can really build himself up and go against even bigger and better people.
Sure.
We'll see how that goes. In my opinion, somebody who has been improving a lot in the last few weeks is Humberto Carrillo. Now, I don't know if that's something to do with him and Andrade having amazing chemistry.
Right.
But more and more we're seeing, I mean, in my opinion, I was really hard on him when he first started on Raw. Now more and more, maybe because he's not talking, we're seeing a little bit him improving every week. And there's a lot of flashiness that I think is unnecessary that he does. And I like that Jerry Lawler mentions it. That's like maybe one of the few things that actually good things he says on commentary. But I know you saw the match.
Yeah.
I know. What did you think of this match?
I think it reminds me of like the first iteration of Andrade. You know, Andrade was very, very flashy.
Talking about WWE or NXT?
The NXT.
Okay.
When he did, even though the pay-per-view, I think he did, we showed up one time. He was wearing like the hat and then little suspenders. He was the party boy.
Against Ty Dillinger.
Yeah, doing the flashy moves and stuff. And it was really, storyline-wise, him teaming with Zelina Vega, making it more mature. So, like, seeing that with Humberto, I totally saw that kind of, like, recursive circle with that. And I'm just high on the guy. I feel like Humberto could be very, very good for a lot of new fans, a lot of, like, younger fans into the brand. So, and Raw's wide open as a brand, too, you know.
I still am going to say I think he should be a heel.
Humberto?
Yeah.
You think so?
Humberto.
Yeah.
Have you seen? Look at Humberto. He's got those dimples, the little cute boy kind of look.
I think he's like so cute, and like I feel like he can't.
But if he comes out like knowing that he's cute and knowing that he's got those dimples coming out, like
you could also use it you could use it the other way
you.
too. You could use it the other way too, where you're like, oh hey,
Yeah.
I think it could work both ways, but I think he's still trying to figure things out, and like I think he is going to grow in the next year.
Yes, but kudos to him. I will be the first to say if somebody I think needs improvement, I'll say it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he hasn't improved, so I'm not going to take that away from him. These last couple matches, even his matches with like who did he face before Andrade? I forgot who he faced before Andrade, but like
AJ.
AJ. Like I don't know, he's been showing a lot of improvement. Hopefully, we see more and more in the next coming weeks of 2019.
19, only a few more weeks.
This was the last pay-per-view of 2019 of the decade.
Of the decade.
Of the 2010s.
Of the 2010s.
Wow.
Just real quick, because we are wrapping up, who was your male and female MVP of the night?
Buddy Murphy and Kairi Sane.
Gosh, I don't know. I know. I'm like, Let's see. I have to say, Kairi Sane and Bray Wyatt.
Okay.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, since you're asking me,
what about you?
I'm going to go with Buddy Murphy and Asuka, since Asuka was the one that actually grabbed the titles and won it for her team.
Great.
But yes, I am excited to be talking about wrestling with you guys. We'll be back one more time, or many more. Royal Rumble next month.
Yeah.
I'm excited, but I know you are going to be here in the meantime because you guys cover NXT. But where else can people find you guys?
Yeah, you can find me at Twitter at Flobo Boyce, on Instagram at Flobito, and of course Flobito.com.
Alrighty, you guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Emily Mae Heller.
And you can follow me at G Hermoza, GHERMOZA. Thank you, everybody. Happy New Year. Happy decade. Merry Christmas. We'll see you guys next year.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.